So the world of work has been turned completely upside down, right? We all went remote. But now the big question on everyone's mind is, did it actually work? Are we really more productive, or did we just trade the buzz of the office for the convenience of our living rooms? Well, let's dive in and try to figure that out.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at just how massive this remote revolution has been. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, the argument for why it makes us more productive. But of course, we've got to look at the other side of the coin, the collaboration crisis. After that, we'll explore the hybrid model, which is kind of supposed to be the best of both worlds. And finally, we'll ask the big question: what's next for work?
All right, let's kick things off with the remote revolution. I mean, it's pretty wild when you stop and think about how fast our whole idea of going to the office just changed.
Get this. By 2025, it's projected that 1 in 4 professionals in the US will be fully remote. Just let that sink in for a second. That's not a temporary blip from the pandemic. That is a fundamental structural shift in how our economy works.
So, this all brings us back to that huge central question, doesn't it? With so many people working from home, has this massive experiment actually made us better at our jobs? Are we more productive? Or are there hidden costs, things we're only now starting to notice?
Okay, let's tackle the first side of this debate, the case for productivity. This is the whole idea that maybe, just maybe, giving people more freedom actually makes them better at their jobs. And the core argument here is actually pretty simple when you think about it. It's all about autonomy and focus. The idea is if you let people control their own environment and their own schedule, they can really get in the zone and do deep, meaningful work. It's a trade-off, right? Less micromanaging, but in return, you get more focused, high-quality output.
So, where does all this extra productivity come from? Well, for starters, think about all that commute time you get back. It's huge. Plus, you get to escape all those, hey, got a quick second, interruptions you get in a busy office. Suddenly, you have the power to structure your day for that deep focus we were talking about. It's really about working smarter, not just being glued to a chair from 9 to 5.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures that whole pro-remote philosophy. It's all built on trust, isn't it? The belief is simple. If you hire talented, motivated people, you shouldn't have to babysit them. Just give them the freedom to do what they do best, and they'll knock it out of the park. Well, okay, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. For everything we seem to gain in individual focus, there's a growing fear that we're losing something absolutely critical: team collaboration. Some people are even calling it the collaboration crisis. So the whole counter-argument is about what vanishes when we're not physically together. It's this idea that real innovation, those big aha moments, they don't happen on a scheduled 30-minute Zoom call. No, they happen in those random, spontaneous chats by the coffee machine. The creative sparks that just can't be planned.
And when you break it down, you can really see the pain points. You lose that spontaneous brainstorming, those classic water cooler moments. Mentoring new hires, that becomes this formal, awkward thing you have to schedule. Team cohesion can start to fray, and let's not even get started on Zoom fatigue. We've all been there. It's a real energy drain. So what we're really looking at here is a classic trade-off. On one hand, you've got remote work, which is awesome for deep, individual focus. On the other hand, you have the office, which is designed for that spontaneous, collaborative magic that builds a strong team culture. See? Neither one is better than the other. They're just optimized for different things. So, if one model gives us focus and the other gives us synergy, what's the solution? Where does that leave us? Well, it leads us straight to the answer that pretty much every company is wrestling with right now: the hybrid compromise.
Because here's the thing, and this is maybe the biggest takeaway: there is no single magic answer. Productivity isn't some switch you can just flip on or off. The truth is, it depends on everything: the kind of work you're doing, the people on your team, and even your own personal style.
And that's exactly where the hybrid model steps in. It's basically an attempt to have your cake and eat it too. It's a flexible structure that tries to grab the best parts of both remote and in-office work, letting people split their time. And this table really shows the logic behind it, right? If you need to do deep focus work like writing a big report or coding, doing it remotely is probably your best bet. But for a massive creative brainstorming session, you want everyone in the same room. Team building, mentoring, that stuff really thrives with in-person connection. Meanwhile, routine tasks? Yeah, you can probably do those from anywhere. All right, so this brings us to our final big question. What's next for work? Because this whole conversation isn't just about where we're sitting. It's forcing us to rethink the entire purpose of an office.
And I think this is the most crucial point. The future isn't about location, it's about intention. It's about being deliberate. Instead of just showing up to an office by default, companies now have to ask, why are we bringing people together today? And then they have to design the entire experience around that answer.
So let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. First, and most importantly, one size does not fit all. Second, the office isn't the default place to be anymore. It's becoming a destination, a place you go for a specific reason, like a big meeting or a team event. And finally, none of this works, remote, hybrid, whatever, unless companies provide super clear guidelines and actually support their people. And that really leaves us with one last fascinating question to think about. As our offices become more intentional, will they transform? Will they stop being a place we have to go and become a place we actually want to go, to connect, to create, to collaborate? Honestly, the answer to that question is probably going to define the future of work for all of us. Thanks for tuning in.